right, it's now time for raising funds for World Domination, day number 164. So here's the status update for today. So we're down to 1 day until the next N13 hearing tomorrow. Yeah, last block mining game release was almost a month ago. Last video was on business law, released a few days ago. Today there are no updates on the store. I went back and took a look at why I got my items got delisted. It said misleading. And I didn't check. I'm pretty sure the one item, sponsored item, is there for Gethite for $4 if you want to grab that at the sale price. I have a couple of products to ship, but it doesn't matter because the postal system is on strike anyway. And tonight, I'll probably just do a tiny little bit of work in the block mining game, and then I'll probably step out early tonight. Yoshikaga Kira says, "Hello world. How's it going? Congrats on being the #1 chatter tonight." Let's compile this. So my current thing was working on scroll bars, or just some visual representation of a scroll bar. I don't have any mouse support in this game, and I probably won't bother with that at this point. There's other higher priorities. Here we go, that blue thing on the side, that's the scroll bar. So the task for tonight will be to make this thing actually render some representation of the scroll bar. It's not just a solid blue line. What is the temperature? The temperature is currently 1. Thank you for asking. I know it's terminal based, but are you open to making it a mobile app if possible? I'd say that's at this point that's not at all in the scope of what I'm planning to do. It's just too many ambitious goals. I need to focus my efforts on one area. I think if it caught on with the terminal-based crowd, then it could be expanded out to other platforms and stuff. But if I can't gain traction with terminal enthusiasts, then I think it'd be not worth expanding that way. you see Google's now ending Android officially? Oh, F-Droid. Kept getting censored. Wow. Man, honestly, the things that people get censored for are like making me even more paranoid about censorship. Like I never really used to be super paranoid about censorship until I encountered this. I always thought it was like relatively good faith stuff, but it's not. It's such a weird thing. Well, I don't even know what F-Droid is, to be honest. I don't keep up with the mobile ecosystem. Are terminal enthusiasts a market? It's a small but extreme market. I think honestly a lot of the development is stuff like to make a game that can actually do anything interesting. There's a lot of development that you need to do up front, and there's a lot of things that can just be done in like the terminal environment, like the memory management stuff and like some of the database stuff. And if I get bogged down, well, I mean, I am kind of already getting bogged down with some of the UI stuff, which is what I'm developing right now. But once I have, I mean, it's a pretty advanced UI for a terminal. But to add new features, to incrementally add new features to a terminal, where you're just like outputting text, it's much faster than like building like 3D graphics engines and stuff. And so if like what I'm doing right now, it doesn't really preclude replacing the UI or repackaging it, or I mean technically if it works in the terminal with text, then theoretically speaking it should be possible to basically, with very minimal work, port it to a different platform, because it's literally just outputting a matrix of text. Like you could literally even just write your own like terminal emulator or something, and if you had to, because I guess it wouldn't even have to be a full terminal emulator. It would just have to emulate like the subset of whatever drawing instructions this thing outputs, which is pretty restricted. Basically, all apps now need to be verified from Google. Devs need to provide their national ID. F-Droid is an open source alternative to Google Play Store. Okay. Since F-Droid is open source, they don't really verify apps. Okay. Oh, okay. More. Oh, okay. That's why. I see why they censored it. Yeah, I mean the walls are closing in. But I mean, having said that, I understand Google's position. If I had like an app store of my own, I would probably want something like that. I would say like if you're developing an app, to submit your government ID, because really you're writing software that's running on other people's computers, especially now that we're going into World War III. You don't want random people pushing code to. You don't want like people in Congress who have some note-taking app to get some push update that's like from a foreign threat actor. I mean, with all the AI stuff, like I see stuff in the news every day about the censorship and like national IDs and stuff they're pushing. digital IDs they're pushing in the UK is like kind of getting crazy. But I do see a role for like, I think the right way to do it would be like, there can be like the kind of garbage, sewer internet that's full of bots and scam. Like everyone can go on the internet anonymously still, but then there can be like I can kind of see if you have a YouTube channel, or even maybe on any platform, like you get a special badge that like you are verified that you actually live in this country. Game looks excellent so far. I think the next superpower after US will be Google, or USA under Bezos. Yeah, I think that's a lot of people have said about like when they do like intelligence reports on geopolitical threats and stuff like that. They say that companies, we kind of live in an environment where we don't live, the power structures we have are not super clear. They don't have like national boundaries. A lot of them are like corporate and such. Disagree, because Google Play Store is not known for vetting malicious apps. Yeah, actually, personally, I don't really use any apps like unless I have to. And actually, I have heard of that myself, so that's one of the reasons I don't install apps. You had to retina scan before you could comment on the stream. Well, that's rough. You can give your eyeball data to Sam Altman, and then he can give you some world coins. I think recent anti-monopoly lawsuit against Google has also made them mad because their point of view, having open ecosystem, didn't change anything. Yeah, I don't know. One of the big issues the culture of entrepreneurship is kind of dying out. And there's lots of people say like, oh, we'll do this, we'll start this like thing to encourage entrepreneurship, and they just throw money at it, and it's like it ends up being just another thing to like, so someone who owns some real estate, so like they'll be like, we'll donate $1 million to fund entrepreneurship, so that goes to create like some entrepreneurship hub, and then it's basically just a thing where like this person has a building and they get to make money off the building. They rent it out to the government or something, and then they do a couple talks about entrepreneurship and accounting and stuff. And then some curious people go there, and they'll get sold some expensive accounting services or something, but they have no clue, and then there's very little entrepreneurship that comes out of it. No wonder I had trouble. Are we getting censored? How do you stream? Stay focused. I cannot seem to figure out how to do that. How do you stream and stay focused? I think I have a decent routine going. I do a little bit of work, and then if I notice something in the chat, I'll go over to it. Actually, coming to think of it, it was actually very difficult to get started being like actually productive coding and live streaming. When I first started, I think I did a few live streams where like I had a goal amount to like get a certain amount, and then I doubled it. I don't know if you saw any of those where I was like live streaming until I get $2, live streaming until I get $8. And during those, I did a couple, or no, it was until I get X number of channel members. And for those ones, I did like a 14-hour stream or something. And if I'm doing something for 14 hours, I might as well. I had to do something with that time, so I just tried coding, and it was very distracting at first, but then eventually, I kind of settled into a pattern. You can kind of get into the groove, and I guess over time, I've from doing it every single day, it gets a bit easier. It is also kind of surprising how much work you can get done if you just like even if you're interrupted, if the thing you go back to is, because I guess when I'm doing this, it never occurs to me to like check news or anything like that. Like I'm pretty I don't know, I guess having more distractions makes me focus more. Really hard to talk to people and think about working on a project. Yeah. It is, there are a lot of times when, especially I'm doing something really difficult, like if I'm trying to design an algorithm or something, often what I usually do is I'll draw it out on paper and think about it, and that can get pretty difficult to do on stream. .269 illegal start of expression. How do you motivate yourself when nobody believes in you? Everybody believes in me, don't they? Do you guys not believe in me? program more? Yeah, you can always just program more. I always forget how to cast these things. Thanks for the advice. Nice to hear. Not the only one. Running into a bad habit where I'm not making games, I'm playing them instead of. I really want to get out of that. Yeah, doing the streaming, I guess the bar is low for like productivity. Like if I'm actually just offline and focused, I'd say I'm way more productive. I'm not getting distracted by chat. But I guess at least initially there was more like channel members that would sign up and stuff, and like random super chats and stuff. So it kind of felt like it might have been like a bit like doubly productive, even though I wasn't writing a lot of code. It was still producing a bit of revenue on the site, although that is dramatically slowed down, which is honestly not surprising. I think people get tired of sending super chats after. I think it was after around the 100-day mark, people started to get tired of that. But it's all just part of an experiment, just to see what works in social media. I guess for now I'll continue doing this daily thing for a while. Maybe, I don't know. It's questionable if it's worth continuing. I have the skill. I'm just in a depressive rut, I guess. Yeah, I guess I don't know. It's hard to offer general advice on that. Yeah, I don't know. There's many things that can start you into a rut. Hard to find time to read. Checked a book a month ago from college. Now I'm overdue. Barely a chapter in. Honestly, I don't really read any books anymore. Like to buy a book, you need to obtain the physical book somewhere, or I guess there's like digital libraries and stuff. Pretty much anything I want to read is openly available on the internet somewhere, for the most part. I mean, it looks like my scroll bar doesn't work. It's wrong. I mostly read online textbook tutorials. Real textbooks in my collection. Yeah, I have a bunch of textbooks, like real textbooks that I bought for cheap on eBay, and I don't have time to read them. Robert, you get an average of 10 concurrent viewers, up to 20. I think it's safe to say you can do a lot better. I really don't want to discourage you. The opposite. Well, thank you for the encouragement. Yeah, I don't know. It comes and goes. It used to be, I think the most I've had is about 100, but then I guess after 100 days, 164 days of live streaming programming, it turns out a lot of people don't want to watch programming streaming. I mean, if I focused a lot on being entertaining, actually, when I do these streams, what I look forward to most is actually getting work done. And I think to myself, like, oh man, I can't wait to get that thing done tonight, because then it'll be a little bit better. And I get on and people talk and chat, and then I have to acknowledge them. If you had infinite free time to do one leisure fun time wasted, what would it be? I don't know, more exercise, more walking around nice environments in the wilderness. Hello, bot grifter. Do you mean the question about average viewers? I don't know if I don't see any grifter comments there, or bot comments that I know of. I don't even bother with the library. I'm always late. I haven't been to the library in a while. The library around here actually had some really interesting stuff in it. Recently, they had like 3D printers and some VR headsets and stuff. All right, I think I'm really close, but the math isn't working. Why doesn't it work? All right, that should give me something. That's not right. Oh, that's why. Because that's what I want instead. What draws me to you is your super chill, light voice, personality. No aggression and helpful advice in live streams. I get your sense of humor and seriousness behind your shorts. Nice. I think I'm a I might photo all the pages on my phone and give it back. It's annoying just to see it unread. It's a lot of work to read. It takes time. No offense, but there's something uniquely weird about you in a good way. Well, that's good that it's in a good way, not a bad way. Robert has a nice voice. Bob Ross of programming. There's quite a few of those. I've seen a lot of programmers that get labeled the Bob Ross of programming. So I've got competition. That might give me what I want. Was your 37-year-old broke loser video true? Yes, it was. All the metrics, all the numbers and experiences are factual. All right, I think that. It's not quite what I expected. Happy little binary trees. I don't have any binary search trees in this application. Wow, how are you so efficient without an IDE? Do you like JetBrains? I have started using IntelliJ. I used to use Eclipse back in the day, but I guess I haven't really used one in IDE in many years. So I recently got back into using it for the debugger. And I was going to try and switch back to using the IDE full-time, but then I kind of regressed back to just using terminal. nice. It's doing exactly what I wanted it to. Look at that, a scroll bar, functioning scroll bar in the terminal. You can't click it though. But it gives you feedback. It doesn't work yet in the other orientation, but IntelliJ is nice. Yeah, I like using it for the debugger. The debugging has gotten, there's just a lot of little like niceties and stuff. You can hover over more things, and being able to like just small niceties that make it faster to navigate the code. For most of the development though, I mean, I find every tool has a really specific niche application that makes it useful for. Vim, in my opinion, is still just best if you want to write out a whole bunch of code. All right, that was my goal for tonight. I think I'll probably call it a night there, and we'll be back tomorrow night for day 165. All right, talk to you later, guys. I think it goes past niceties. Vim's so raw. Yeah, I do things like autocomplete and like when I was trying to fix that typecast issue, I do think I could be more efficient if I had access to the language server. But then also actually because AI is taking over, I started using this because I thought this might have some interesting AI integrations. But then so it had what was it? It had one of the AI plugins, and I was going to try it, but then I read the reviews and they said it was terrible. It was like on an old version or something, and it couldn't do basic tasks like copy and paste or something. But I mean, the field it's rapidly evolving, so I mean, I will have to come back to the AI stuff and try it again. All right, talk to you later.